The huge screens in Times Square went black all at once. People stopped walking. Cars slowed down. A strange quiet fell over the usually noisy city. Then a face appeared on all screens. It belonged to a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth. "Humans of Earth," the alien said in a deep voice. "I am Supreme Commander Krazak of the Vorax Empire. Today, your species will learn its place in the galaxy." The image changed to show a simple room with white walls. In the center stood Dr. Elena Reyes, Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Confederation. Her hands were tied behind her back, but her head was held high. She showed no fear. "This human has been found guilty of spying against the Vorax Empire," said Krazak's voice. "The punishment is death." Before anyone could process these words, a beam of bright light shot through the room. Dr. Rice fell to the ground. Her body didn't move again. Screams filled Times Square. Similar scenes played out in cities across Earth as the broadcast reached every screen on the planet. In the White House Situation Room, President Maya Williams slammed her fist on the table. "What the hell just happened?" she demanded. "Where was the trial? Where was our chance to defend her?" Admiral Sarah Chen, head of Earth's Space Defense Force, stood with her face frozen in shock. "Madam President, the Vorax don't see us as equals. To them, we're just another primitive species that recently learned to travel between stars. Get me the Confederation Council on the line. Now," President Williams ordered. The call connected to the Galactic Confederation headquarters on Centauri Prime. The alien faces on screen looked troubled, but not outraged. "This is most unfortunate," said High Counselor Zinn, a tall, thin alien with pale green skin. "We will issue formal protests to the Vorax Empire immediately." Formal protests. President Williams could barely control her anger. "They executed our ambassador without a trial. We demand justice." High Counselor Zinn blinked slowly. Earth is still new to galactic politics. The Vorax control 1/3 of known space and possess technology thousands of years ahead of yours. They will offer compensation for this incident. "Compensation?" Admiral Chen whispered. "They think." 3 days after Dr. Reyes' execution, Earth's official response surprised the galaxy. In a calm broadcast, President Williams announced that Earth would negotiate fair compensation for the unfortunate incident. The Vorax Empire was pleased. The other Confederation species were relieved. War had been avoided. Or so they thought. Behind closed doors, something very different was happening. In a secret underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Sarah Chen stood before a large digital map of the galaxy. Around her gathered Earth's best minds: scientists, soldiers, hackers, and strategists. "Operation Reyes Protocol is now active," she announced. "Our public face will be peaceful negotiation. Our private actions will ensure this never happens again." She pointed to different sections of the map. "We don't have the biggest ships or the strongest weapons, but we have something the Vorax don't understand: human creativity and determination." Across Earth, special teams formed. In Tokyo, the world's top hackers gathered to find ways into Vorax computer systems. In Nairobi, engineers worked to convert civilian ships for military use. In Rio de Janeiro, psychologists built detailed profiles of every known Vorax commander. The aliens never saw it coming because they were looking for the wrong signs. They watched for weapon production and fleet movements. They didn't notice Earth's internet traffic patterns changing or the quiet repositioning of communication satellites. "Admiral, the Confederation ambassador is asking questions about our ship's movements," reported Lieutenant Kim. Chen smiled. "Tell him we're conducting routine training exercises. New members make mistakes, right?" Her smile disappeared as she looked at a photo of Elena Reyes. They had been friends since university. "We will not fail you," she whispered. Meanwhile, in a small apartment in Madrid, former combat medic Marcus Rivera watched the news about Elena's death with growing anger. He switched off the screen and looked at an old photo on his wall. Himself and Elena in Nigeria during the Resource Wars. She was a doctor then, before becoming an ambassador. He had saved her life when their medical camp was attacked. "Now I couldn't save yours," he said to the photo. His phone rang. The caller ID was blocked. "Mr. Rivera," said a woman's voice. "This is Admiral Chen. I believe you knew Dr. Reyes." Rivera sat up straight. "We served together in Nigeria. Why are you calling me?" "Because I need someone with your skills for a special mission. Someone who cared about Elena, and who understands both medicine and combat." "What kind of mission?" Rivera asked. "The kind that would honor her memory, the kind that seems impossible." Rivera looked again at the photo of Elena. "When do I start?" Across the galaxy, on the Confederation capital world, High Counselor Zinn received a report about Earth's activities. "They're being surprisingly reasonable," his assistant said. "Their negotiators are discussing compensation terms, and we've detected no major military preparations." Zinn nodded. "Good. They understand their place in the galactic order." But as he stared at the hologram of Earth rotating slowly above his desk, he felt a strange chill. Something about those humans bothered him. They had accepted defeat too easily. "Keep watching them," he ordered. "Something doesn't feel right." He had no idea that Earth was already moving, not with warships and armies, but with something far more dangerous, a plan born of human ingenuity and the cold fire of righteous anger. The silent preparations continued. The galaxy remained unaware. The countdown to Earth's response had begun. 3 months after Elena's death, strange things began to happen across Vorax territory. On the Vorax military base on Durix IV, Commander Krell stared at his blank screens in anger. "What do you mean all systems are down?" he shouted at his technology officer. "Fix it now." "We're trying, sir," the officer replied, sweat dripping from his blue skin. "It's like nothing we've seen before. The system keeps showing the same message in all languages." Krell looked at the message flashing on the main screen. "Remember Elena Reyes." Similar problems hit Vorax bases throughout the galaxy. Navigation systems on warships suddenly failed. Weapon controls locked up. Communication networks went silent. Each time, the same message appeared. In the Confederation Council chambers, the Vorax ambassador was furious. "Earth is attacking us," he shouted at the other representatives. High Counselor Zinn looked confused. "We have been monitoring Earth. Their ships haven't left their solar system. They are still discussing compensation terms." "Then explain why our systems are failing," demanded the Vorax. Nobody could explain it. The attacks left no trace to follow. It was as if the Vorax systems were defeating themselves. Meanwhile, on the Vorax prison moon of Keltar, Marcus Rivera moved silently through dark corridors. After weeks of training and surgery to alter his appearance, he looked like a Centaurian traitor. His mission was to gather intelligence on Vorax operations. What he found shocked him. Hidden deep inside the moon were thousands of prisoners from dozens of species. The Vorax were experimenting on them, testing new weapons and drugs. "This is worse than we thought," Rivera whispered into his hidden communicator. "They've been kidnapping people from all over the galaxy." Back on Earth, Admiral Chen received Rivera's transmission in her command center. "Record everything," she ordered, "and find a way to get those prisoners out." "Should we inform the Confederation?" her assistant asked. Chen shook her head. "Not yet. The Vorax have friends in the Council. We move when we have proof no one can deny." Across the galaxy, more strange events unfolded. The Meklar, a small species that had suffered under Vorax rule for centuries, suddenly acquired advanced shield technology. The peaceful Dravens, whose planets contained minerals the Vorax wanted, now had weapons capable of stopping Vorax ships. No one knew where these technologies came from, but each new weapon or defense system had a small mark hidden in its design. Earth's outline with a single star marking Rhea's hometown. On Centauri Prime, High Counselor Zinn called an emergency meeting with his advisors. "Something is happening," he said. "The Vorax report failures across their territory. Yet Earth appears to be doing nothing. Their negotiators continue to discuss compensation terms, said an aide. They seem very reasonable. Too reasonable, said Zin, his eyes narrowing. Check again. Watch their communication patterns, resource movements, everything. As the meeting ended, a young aide approached him privately. Sir, I found something strange. Small unmarked Earth ships have visited 17 different worlds in the past month. All are home to species oppressed by the Vorax. Zin looked out at the stars visible through his window. A new understanding dawned on him. We've made a terrible mistake, he whispered. We thought they were primitive because their technology is young. We never considered that their minds might work differently than ours. He turned to his aide. Find out everything you can about human history, specifically how they fight wars. But it was already too late. Earth's response had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. Marcus Rivera moved quickly through the prison moon's dark halls. Behind him followed hundreds of free prisoners, beings of all shapes and sizes from across the galaxy. All had been captured by the Vorax for experiments. This way, Rivera whispered, checking his small device that showed guard positions. The escape ships are waiting. A tall, thin alien with 4 arms touched Rivera's shoulder. Why is a human risking his life for us? Your planet barely knows the rest of the galaxy exists. Rivera's eyes hardened. The Vorax killed one of our own. We won't let them hurt anyone else. After ensuring the prisoners reached the hidden ships, Rivera did something unexpected. Instead of escaping himself, he walked directly toward the prison control room. He had a different mission now. When Vorax guards found him, he didn't resist. His capture was part of the plan. In the prison's interrogation room, Supreme Commander Krazek himself came to question the human. He had traveled across half the galaxy when he heard a human was captured. After the recent problems in Vorax territory, he wanted answers. Why are humans attacking us? Krazek demanded, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. Rivera sat calmly, despite his bruised face. We aren't attacking. We're responding. To what? The execution of your spy. Krazek laughed. That was months ago. A minor incident. Rivera smiled slightly. You still don't understand humans, do you? We have a saying on Earth. Humans don't start wars. We finish them. Krazek slammed his fist down. You think your primitive planet can challenge the Vorax Empire? We control thousands of worlds. Numbers don't win wars. Ideas do. Rivera leaned forward. And you gave us the most dangerous idea of all. That the galaxy needs protection from you. Furious, Krazek ordered Rivera's immediate execution. As guards dragged the human away, Rivera looked directly at the small camera in the corner of the room and nodded once. On Earth, Admiral Chen saw the signal. Begin Operation Sunlight, she ordered. Exactly 3 minutes later, across 3 different sectors of Vorax space, 37 military bases experienced complete system shutdowns. Weapons, shields, and communication all stopped working at once. No Vorax ships could launch. No messages could be sent. No one died. No shots were fired. But in an instant, the Vorax lost control of their most important military installations. On the Vorax homeworld, Krazek received an emergency message from Earth. The human president appeared on his screen, her face calm but determined. That was for threatening Rivera, President Williams said simply. Imagine what comes next. Before Krazek could respond, the screen showed footage of the free prisoners telling their stories to representatives from across the galaxy. The evidence of Vorax crimes was being broadcast to every planet in the Confederation. In the Confederation Council chambers, representatives watched in shock. The peaceful humans had executed a military operation beyond anything they thought possible. How? Whispered High Counselor Zin. Their technology is centuries behind the Vorax. His aide, who had been studying human history, replied quietly. They don't think like us. Throughout their history, humans have defeated stronger enemies through unexpected strategies. They call it asymmetric warfare. Zin watched the footage with growing understanding, and we thought they were primitive because they are young. That, said his aide, may have been the greatest miscalculation in galactic history. Meanwhile, in his cell, Rivera waited calmly. Earth's real response was just beginning. The Confederation Council Grand Chamber was packed. Representatives from over 200 species gathered for Earth's official address. Rumors had spread across the galaxy about Earth's actions against the Voraks. President Williams stood at the center of the chamber, calm and confident. For 3 months, you've watched the Voraks Empire face challenges, she began. Today, I confirm that Earth is responsible. Shocked whispers filled the room. The Voraks ambassador jumped to his feet, but President Williams continued before he could speak. We didn't come to the stars looking for enemies. We came seeking friends, knowledge, and peaceful cooperation. Her voice hardened. But the Voraks executed our ambassador without trial. They've kidnapped and experimented on innocent beings. Their empire is built on fear and pain. Large screens around the chamber began showing evidence: prison moons, secret laboratories, weapons tests on living beings, all captured by Rivera and other human agents. Earth doesn't want war, the president said firmly. We want justice. We want a galaxy where no species suffers what Elena Race did. She revealed Earth's proposal: new security protocols for the Confederation that would protect all members, big or small. New laws requiring fair trials. New checks on the power of larger empires. As she spoke, Admiral Chen received an urgent message. She whispered to the president, whose expression remained unchanged. I'd just been informed that the Voraks have launched an attack on our colony on Ganymede, President Williams announced to the chamber. They believe this will force us to back down. The Voraks ambassador smiled coldly. Your primitive defenses can't stop our warships. We don't need to stop them, replied Williams. Others will do that for us. On screens around the chamber, a remarkable scene unfolded. The Voraks attack fleet approaching Ganymede was met not by Earth ships, but by vessels from dozens of different species, many of whom had never shown military power before. Using technology provided by Earth, these ships created an energy field that disabled the Voraks weapons without harming their ships. The entire Voraks fleet, including their flagship, was captured intact without a single death. The Voraks ambassador stared in disbelief. Impossible. These species have no advanced technology. They didn't, said Admiral Chen, stepping forward, until we shared ours. You see, unlike you, we believe in lifting others up, not keeping them down. High Counselor Zin rose from his seat, his eyes wide with understanding. This was your plan all along. Not revenge, not conquest, but cooperation. Exactly, nodded President Williams. The Reyes Protocol isn't a military operation. It's a framework for interspecies support. While your diplomats were focused on compensation negotiations, our ships were helping species build defenses against aggressors and freeing those the Voraks enslaved. A small, insect-like being stepped forward, a representative from a species long thought to be primitive. Humans gave us respect. It clicked in its language. They saw value in our natural ability to build complex structures. Now we help design defense systems no one can break. One by one, representatives from species across the galaxy shared similar stories. Earth had found unique strengths in each of them, abilities the dominant powers had overlooked or dismissed. The Voraks ambassador backed away, finally understanding the true scale of what humanity had accomplished. Without firing a shot, Earth had changed the balance of power in the entire galaxy. News of the Voraks fleet's capture spread across the galaxy faster than light. On the Voraks homeworld, the impact was immediate. Military leaders argued loudly in the Grand Command Center. Humans are a threat to our existence, shouted General Vortak, pounding his fist on the table. We must use our planet-killer weapons now. But Commander Lax, leader of the moderate faction, stood firm. Did you not see what just happened? Their allies disabled our best fleet without firing a shot, or causing a single death. Think about what that means. Before the argument could continue, screens around the room lit up with images from across Vorax territory. On 12 major worlds, Vorax citizens were marching in the streets, demanding change. They had seen the evidence of their leaders' crimes. Many had family members who disappeared into the research facilities. "The old ways are over," said Commander Lax quietly. "The humans have shown us a different path." Back in the Confederation Council chambers, an emergency session had been called. The capture of the Vorax fleet had changed everything. Species that had lived in fear for centuries now stood tall. Marcus Rivera, finally freed from Vorax prison, walked into the chamber alongside Admiral Chen. His simple presence, a human who had risked everything to free prisoners he didn't even know, spoke volumes. High Counselor Zin addressed the chamber. "We face an unprecedented situation. The balance of power that has existed for 1,000 years has changed in just 3 months." Admiral Chen stepped forward. "With respect, High Counselor, power balances were the problem. Earth proposes something different, power sharing." She activated a hologram showing a new structure for the Confederation, not a hierarchy with powerful species at the top, but a network where all species contributed their unique strengths. "The Lintari are natural diplomats," Chen explained. "The Ferruk understand metals better than anyone. The Vereen can see energy patterns invisible to others. Every species has unique gifts. Together, we are stronger than apart." As she spoke, Rivera moved among the representatives, talking quietly with them. Unlike the formal diplomats, he connected with species on a personal level, sharing stories of Earth's own difficult history. "Humans fought each other for thousands of years," he told a group of representatives. "We nearly destroyed ourselves many times. We learned the hard way that cooperation works better than domination." A representative from a small plant-like species spoke up. "Why should we trust humans? You could be planning to take the Vorax's place." Rivera smiled. "A fair question. Judge us by our actions. We could have destroyed the Vorax fleet. Instead, we captured it intact. We could have kept our technology secret. Instead, we shared it freely with peaceful species." Admiral Chen continued her presentation. "The RAISE protocol includes open sharing of medical advances, educational resources, and defensive technologies. No patents, no fees, no strings attached." The chamber buzzed with excitement. This approach to interspecies relations was revolutionary. High Counselor Zin studied the humans carefully. "Your species is very young compared to most of us. Yet your thinking is evolved." "Not evolved," corrected Rivera. "Just shaped by different experiences. We had to learn to value diversity on our own world before we reached the stars." As the session ended, representatives from dozens of species approached the humans with questions and ideas. The Vorax ambassador sat alone, watching as a new galactic order began to form before his eyes. The paradigm had shifted, and it all started because they killed one human. 6 weeks after the capture of the Vorax fleet, Earth hosted representatives from over 500 species. The meeting took place in a huge glass building in Geneva, with the snow-covered Alps visible in the distance. President Williams looked out at the sea of alien faces, some with multiple eyes, others with scales or feathers, some floating in special tanks of liquid. Just 1 year ago, humans didn't know any of these beings existed. Now they were working together to rebuild the galaxy. "Today we begin writing the Reyes Accords," she announced, "named for the woman whose death started this journey." Admiral Chen displayed a hologram showing the proposed new structure for the Confederation. No longer would it be ruled by the oldest or most technologically advanced species. Instead, leadership would rotate among all members, with decisions made by consensus. "But how will this work in practice?" asked a tall, crystalline being. "Some species will always be stronger than others." Marcus Rivera stepped forward. He had become an unofficial ambassador, respected across the galaxy for his role in freeing the prison moon captives. "On Earth, we have a saying, The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members, he said. We believe the same is true for the galaxy. He explained Earth's most revolutionary idea. That advancement wasn't measured by military power or technological superiority, but by how civilizations treated others. Meanwhile, across the stars, changes were already happening. Former Vorax territories were transitioning to self-rule, with Earth providing support but not control. Commander Lax, now leading the new Vorax government, had ordered all prison facilities closed and all captives returned to their homeworlds. The old Vorax belief power came from fear, Lax told his people in a public address. The humans showed us that true power comes from trust. Back on Earth, not everyone agreed with the new approach. General Harris, head of Earth's military council, confronted Admiral Chen after one of the sessions. We could have demanded reparations, technology transfers, military bases, he said angrily. The Vorax were weak. We could have taken their place. Chen looked at him steadily. And then we would have become them. That was never our goal. What was our goal then? He demanded. Justice, not revenge, she replied simply. Alina would have wanted that. As the conference continued, Earth shared its scientific and cultural knowledge freely. Alien medical techniques helped cure human diseases that had existed for centuries. In return, human art, music, and literature fascinated species across the galaxy. The name Alina Reyes became known on every world, not as a victim, but as a symbol of a new way forward, justice tempered with mercy, strength guided by wisdom. On the final day of the conference, a small memorial was unveiled in the center of Geneva. It showed a simple human hand reaching toward the stars. The inscription read in multiple languages, "In memory of Dr. Alina Reyes, whose life began one journey and whose death began another." As night fell, humans and aliens stood together looking up at the stars. For the first time in galactic history, those stars represented not conquest or competition, but cooperation. The diplomatic revolution had begun, and it started because they killed one human. One standard galactic year after Alina Reyes' execution, the stars above Earth glowed brighter than usual. Thousands of ships from 200 different species gathered in orbit, their lights creating a spectacular display visible from the ground. On a platform built in the middle of the United Nations Plaza in New York, representatives from across the galaxy assembled for the official signing of the Reyes Accords. The plaza was filled with humans and aliens standing side by side. President Williams looked out at the crowd. 1 year ago, we were newcomers to the galactic community. We lost one of our best to violence and injustice. Today, we gather not in sorrow, but in hope. The Reyes Accords were displayed on huge screens. They established a new confederation structure based on cooperation rather than domination. All species, regardless of technology level or military strength, would have equal standing. Knowledge and resources would be shared freely among peaceful members. High Counselor Zin, who had once thought of humans as primitive, now stood as an ally. For thousands of years, we measured advancement by technology. Today, we adopt the human perspective, that the true measure of advancement is how we treat each other. Commander Lax, representing the reformed Vorax government, stepped forward. His people had undergone the most dramatic change. Once feared conquerors, they now worked to make amends. The Vorax Empire apologizes for its crimes, he announced. We will spend the next 100 years helping to rebuild what we destroyed. The Vorax had already begun returning stolen resources and helping rebuild worlds they had damaged. Many found this hard to believe, but the humans had shown them another way forward. Marcus Rivera, now Earth's official ambassador to the Confederation, watched from the side of the platform. He thought about Alina and their time together in Nigeria years ago. She had always believed in helping others, even when it seemed impossible. You would have loved to see this, he whispered. After the official speeches, Admiral Chen approached Rivera. The council is waiting, she said. In a private room nearby, the leaders of the new Confederation Council gathered. Zin addressed the two humans. "We have voted unanimously," he said. "Earth will lead the first council under the new accords." Chen and Rivera looked at each other in surprise. "We're honored," said Chen, "but Earth is still new to galactic politics. Perhaps a more experienced species should." "No," interrupted a small, furry being from a world near the galactic core. "We have experience with the old ways. We need someone with vision for the new ways." Chen considered this, then smiled. "We don't seek to lead the galaxy," she said. "We seek to lift it up alongside us." Her words were transmitted across the stars, reaching billions of beings on countless worlds. Many had once feared what humans might do after the Vorax killed one of their own. Instead, humanity had shown them a different path. As night fell over New York, humans and aliens celebrated together. Children of different species played games in the plaza. Scientists exchanged ideas. Artists shared their work. Looking up at the stars, Rivera remembered something Elena once told him. "Space isn't empty. It's full of possibilities." She had been right. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were homes, filled with new friends and endless opportunities, all because they killed one human. And humanity responded not with vengeance, but with vision.